battles and despair.
Yes. It turns out I was flipping through a couple of ship classes, and I remembered that the Beast Riders have monsters as part of their force, and I can't possibly give up the opportunity to play as a monster. So, hi, I'm Tirak. Welcome to another episode of Starfleet Command Orion Pirates Plus Mod, the last interlude episode before we begin Season 8, which will be the last season of our series. And, we get to play as a monster, and the thing that makes me most excited about this, quite frankly, is the fact that we have access to a Phaser 4. I've always wanted one of these things. Oh, it's so beautiful, it's so powerful, and it's so ridiculous. Also, we are a monster, which is just hilarious. I've never played as any of these monsters. We're squaring off against two Federation CAs. The Federation has sent a cruiser squadron to attempt to deal with this monster rampaging through the sector, and we will come and annihilate them because they disturb our hunting grounds. And it's kind of reminding me just how poorly armed Federation cruisers are. Although that model is absolutely gorgeous. Oh, I love it. I adore it. So last time we were talking just randomly about stuff, and mainly about my intention of, at some point, I'd like to sort of create a mod that combines all of the timelines, going from the very basic of Starfleet Command to, well, the next generation. And I still very much would like to do that. The more I think about it, the more I think it'd be very cool. And I've started thinking about like little tiny refinements for it, if you can kind of call them that, where it would be like, oh, well, the way you do it is you'd get to the X era, and then you'd start having like battle cruisers and stuff as frigates and the like. Because obviously, if you remember Deep Space Nine, you've got ships like the Lakota, which is basically the Lakota class was basically the, wow, I can't even remember it now, the Excelsior class, except, you know, sort of as a standard modern frigate. And I think that'd be really, really cool. Keep blasting away, keep annihilating. Wow, we are really cutting him to pieces. Although we do have a fully open stern right now and a Federation cruiser on our tail, which is an excellent position for a Federation heavy cruiser to be in. If we don't kill him quick, we're going to have serious trouble on our hands. Very accurate photon torpedoes. I approve, sort of ish, not really. We're going to come around and we're going to deal with you. Come on, as much firepower as you can. There we go. Gatling phasers to rip through. These phaser monsters are just disgustingly powerful. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, Deep Space Nine. The Lakota class and the Miranda class show up all the time in that series, especially once the Dominion War started. Now, it was mainly because they had those models laying around and they wanted to be, you know, frugal about it. But it's a very cool concept to think you'd go from the X-type ships, and then in the frigate class would be all your battle cruisers. Now the problem with that is weapons don't really scale like that in the game. Once you hit the Phaser X, I mean, where do you go from there? So would you mod the next generation ships so that they were very powerful? Like, just have huge shield values, in which case everybody would be stacking triple whites all around? And just have, like, TNG era phasers? And how would you name them? Just thoughts start going through my head. We're just randomly spitballing. We have time, and we're flying a monster vessel, so we're gonna have some fun. So we've taken out one of the heavy cruisers, but there is the last one, as the gigantic Phaser monster comes for you. I may change my mind about playing pirate campaigns, just because of stuff like this. I think it's a Beast Riders only thing, but it's still hilariously funny to me that we can command a monster. There was an opportunity, they call it the Astro Miner, and that's what the giant plasma monster is. There was an opportunity to pick that, and I was really close to that, but then I saw this, and it's like, you have a Phaser 4. We can finally use one of these and enjoy just the massive amount of firepower that it can put out. It can deal 10 to 20 damage. I thought it said like 5 to 90. Maybe that's only at point-blank range. 15 to 20 damage. Oh, that's a hilarious amount of damage. How close can we get with it? Phaser 4, 40 damage at point-blank range. Oh, that is disgusting and amazing, and I want that on an actual ship. And maybe that's what you do with the next generation mod. You'd start giving like Phaser 4s out to people. Because that'd be pretty cool. Of course, you'd need to scale, you know, shields with that. And eventually it would become very, very difficult if you wanted an older style ship to fight against a Federation vessel. Or maybe you would do it sort of an X-type cruiser idea, where the Dreadnought concept wouldn't really remain. You'd focus mostly on heavy cruisers, so it'd be good speed and maneuverability, but older style dreadnoughts would still be reasonable because they had massive amounts of armor and shields. Just thinking about it. I don't know if you can change things like maximum speed in this game or not, but it is something that I'm considering. So, now that we've waffled for about 5 minutes and did a playthrough with a hilarious monster, we're going to have to end this episode, and tomorrow will be the beginning of a whole new campaign. Well, not a whole new campaign, a whole new season. It will be the Romulans versus the Federation, and I, for one, just cannot wait. And for my brother, who has been sort of tracking this series on occasion, this final season is for you. He was a Romulan player, and he enjoyed it. So, I've been Tirak. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to receive a notification every time I release one of these videos, press that little bell icon, leave a comment, and I will see you all in Season 8.